What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist sitting here next to
Gershwin.
And today we're back at it to answer more questions that you guys bring us in another episodic adventure called For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what
Warsmith Gauze has done. His question is, what's Warhammer 40K?
That is such a complicated question. It's going to boggle your mind forever. It's basically just like... Oh, wait, how would you describe it?
It is... Well, are we talking about lore-wise, or are we talking about the actual game of 40K?
Oh, that's true. So, let's just say, like, what the game... So, Warhammer 40K is a tabletop war game with an amazing lore. Mm-hmm. A lore that stretches back many decades, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just set in the far future, in the 40,000...
millennia?
Yeah, 42nd millennium now. And basically think of all the cool things about sci-fi and also all the cool things about fantasy mushed together in one, and then throw in a little bit of grim darkness, and that is what 40K is.
Yeah.
It follows a couple of factions. So you have the Imperium, which is humanity. You have orcs, which are your typical like bad guys who just want to kill things for no reason.
Think of fantasy orcs, because that's pretty much what they are.
Yeah. And then you have the Tyranids, which is kind of the same thing, but with a biological twist. Mm-hmm. They are basically ants, space ants. And then you have the Eldar, which are just...
Ancient elves.
Yeah. And then you have, I guess you could say the Adeptus Mechanicus, which is part of the Imperium of Man, which is just like the steampunk style faction that is all about technology. But they're also human. Part of them is human. Mm-hmm. They're not androids, though. I don't think they would be categorized as androids according to the dictates of the whatever.
If anything, they're more cyborg than android.
And then, what else do we have?
We have the evil good guys, the Chaos. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much, think of everything you have for humanity, space marines, and just make it evil.
Yeah, they're dark magic users, so they're the bad guys. And then you have, well, kind of. And then you have the Tau Empire, which is like the weebs.
Yeah. If you have anime and God on your side, you're in the Tau Empire.
Yeah. And we were talking about this last episode, but I think the Tau Empire is the only sci-fi faction where like they're not really connected to the fantasy element, other than Farsight, because Farsight has that sword that lets him live forever. But they're supposed to represent that, like, what if the future was kind of like Star Trek and everybody was trying to work together for a common purpose, aka the greater good, space communists. And then finally the Necrons.
Necrons are the ancient destroy all life in the past. Now they got personalities and they got motives and goals.
Yeah, they're basically mummies.
Yeah, space mummies in armor.
Yeah.
And then you have the demons of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Which are basically amalgamations of emotions and beliefs spewed into real space.
Yeah, and that's really the cool thing about Warhammer 40K, or the thing that sets it apart from most other sci-fi fantasies, is that you have reality, which is what we live in, and then you have this other strange dimension called the Immaterium, the warp, whatever you want to call it, and that is used for faster than light travel, but more importantly, it is the home to the chaos gods and demons. So if you want a good visual representation, you should check out, what's that movie called on Netflix?
Stranger Things.
Well, kind of like Stranger Things,
yeah.
But an even better one and more like sci-fi one would be the...
Event Horizon.
Yeah, so that one is basically what the warp is like. Mm-hmm. It's a chaotic place. Humans were not meant to be in there, but they still have to use it because they have to travel through and do warp jumps and stuff like that.
Yeah. Essentially, if you want a prequel to 40K, Event Horizon is it.
Yeah.
Because it shows humanity before they achieved this new explosion of like technology and stuff. And then they get introduced to this new dimension.
And you would think, like, all these different factions would unify against this dimension that's evil and it's just spewing out demons. But they don't. They fight against each other.
Yeah.
The Orcs don't like anybody. The Eldar don't like anybody. The Necrons definitely don't like anybody. And the Imperium doesn't even like itself.
That's true.
They're fighting with each other more than
anything. Yeah.
Not like the Orcs. The Orcs are straight up fighting with each other. But, yeah, and that's kind of what 40K is.
Right. So when you think about Warhammer 40K, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Space Marines.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about the Space Marines.
Yeah, that is a huge portion of 40K that's kind of out to the public. When you go to a Warhammer store, you're probably going to see that huge Space Marine outside inviting you in. Because when you look at it, it's like, okay, this looks pretty badass. And then you walk into the store and you see the shelves of bunch of plastic. You see the tables with this lavish terrain. And then you see all the paints and supplies needed to play the game.
And the cool thing is that it's cheap. Get into it. You're not going to spend that much money. Just don't think about it. Just buy a model.
Yeah. It's very hard to get into this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's many things that you need. There's many cogs in the device that you call 40K. Because you can't just play it like any other board game where you buy the game, you take all the contents out, and you're playing and learning the rules within 10 minutes.
Right, yeah.
You know? This requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of patience, and it requires another person to do the exact same thing that you've done.
Yeah, you need to be social in this game,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is kind of funny.
So first and foremost, I think the hardest thing to get people to play 40K is the money. Because you look at the rule book, which is a $50 rule book, and you need that to learn the core games, or the core mechanics of the game. Once you understand that, you need to find out what faction you want to play. And there's tons of it. And then you got to find the codex. You got to get your army list ready, which is troops, elites, HQs. You got to buy the boxes, clip them, build them, glue them, paint them, and then decide on a point value that you're going to play, and then find somebody else that did all that too, find the time to play, and then spend 3 hours playing.
But the thing you want to focus on is not so much the actual gameplay, but everything leading up to it.
Yep.
Modeling, kit bashing, painting, all that stuff. It sounds like grueling work, and it is, but it's fun.
Right. Because if you're playing an army that you care nothing about, why even buy that army?
Right, so like if you're into Magic the Gathering or HeroClix or anything like that, where you buy pre-constructed things that you play on the tabletop, there's a sense of like you could discard it and it doesn't really matter as much. But with these, like you built and paint, you basically put in your own mistakes into this model, which makes it even better when you see that model like conquer a demon or destroy something else.
Yeah.
So it has like kind of a Dungeons and Dragons element in that you care about the army. You might not name every single model like in Dungeons and Dragons, but you do care about the thing that you just created.
Right, because the thing, like how you were bringing up, like, oh, I play Magic, but I sold my deck. You can always just go online or go to the store and buy a new exact deck.
Yep.
It's a copy of, like, I don't know, a Red Dragon card. It's going to be the exact same Red Dragon card from any other thing. If you sell your army, you may not have that exact color scheme available. The models might go discontinued. Let's say you created like a sword out of green stuff that only your model has that. Once you sell it, you may never see it again.
Yeah, and that's like a really important part of Warhammer 40K is you putting yourself into your warband. Yeah, and also it is a larger skirmish game. So you're not dealing with like one or two models. You're dealing with, sometimes 50 models, 60 models. I know sometimes I ran over 120 models. Yeah.
And if you want to just tiptoe into 40K, I'd say go ahead and buy yourself a Kill Team box set, because that has everything you need. You don't need to create a lavish army. 3 models is all you need. And most of the time, they're easy to build. All you got to do is just push them together, and you can play a game really quickly. Yep. But that is basically 40K light. So know that if you do enjoy this, going into Warhammer 40K, expect to spend way more time and way more effort into it.
For sure. Yep. But get into it.
Definitely.
Do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. This next question comes from Bruce Zoe. When will you guys visit New Zealand?
New Zealand? I still got to go to Old Zealand.
Oh. I think you've asked this before, and we had the same response.
Yeah.
Probably when COVID is over.
When will that be?
There's like 5 different strands now.
Unless we go to Texas. It's over for them now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand sounds cool, though.
Yeah. Next question.
Nathan Douglas. How big is the 40K universe? And what's outside the Milky Way? Because if the Tyranids are potentially from another galaxy, how do we know that there aren't more powerful beings out there?
We don't know. So the Warhammer 40K universe is as big as the Milky Way galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the Milky Way galaxy is I think they call it the Great Expanse, or like the Dark Expanse. And the only people that have actually traveled there are the Silent King and
the old ones.
Yeah. And the Tyranids, I guess.
Well, yeah, the Tyranids are traveling from there into us.
Yeah. Is there other bigger, stronger things out in the galaxy? Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, if all of this is just, secluded in our galaxy, who's to say, like, the universe isn't pushing the Tyranids out? Like, that there is something stronger, that the Tyranids are actually fleeing from it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there's nothing, the Tyranids ate everything, and that's why they're coming to our galaxy, because it's the only one with life left.
Right.
It's just, that's the thing. We just don't know. The lore doesn't really explain that or give us answers. And I don't know if I really want to know.
I agree. I think the fact that we are, the boundaries are the Milky Way galaxy makes 40K a whole lot better.
Because even with those boundaries, there's so much to talk about, so much to explore that, I mean, it's almost indefinite.
For sure, yeah. This question comes from Hassan Muhammad. Not Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish, but why don't you guys do a 40K channel or video in Spanish? Probably an idea you already thought about, but it could be profitable for you guys. Yeah, we've thought about it, but it would have to be a lore video, because, I mean, a lore channel, and that's just a lot of work. I don't think it comes natural like that.
Yeah, also, I don't think we speak Spanish as our primary language enough to, like... Because when I speak Spanish, sometimes I got to think about the words I say, even though it's, like, our first language.
Yeah, like, it's easier for me to get my message across if I'm speaking in English than it is in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what the channel is. It's just us making sense of whatever it is that we're reading.
Yeah, it's like... There are some words that are even difficult to pronounce in English. Imagine translating that into Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, how do you say Gilliman in Spanish?
Gilliman.
And sexy, man.
Yeah. This question comes from Indefinite Chris. Given the multiple directions which hive fleets have appeared from, do you think it's likely that they could have already consumed most, if not all of the other galaxies?
It's a theory.
Yeah, it is a theory, but not necessarily, because it's just the south and the east. So.
Mm-hmm. This one is by Jerome Chitty. Could there be an Eldar out there that is immune to She Who Thirsts?
No.
No. The thing is that, like, the Eldar essentially created this god, and it's like she's got an eye for the Eldar.
Yep.
So, no. Because even, like, Dark Eldar, they're not safe.
Nope.
Harlequins?
Nope. They're not safe. They just know how to hide.
That's true. And, like, their god is still alive.
Yep.
What's his name?
Segura.
Yeah.
Yeah. This question comes from Captain Slow. Are there any Chaos Primaris Marines? If not, do you believe that some will eventually fall to Chaos? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Because if Primaris Marines aren't immune to Gene C deficiencies, they could definitely fall to Chaos.
Yeah. And just to clarify, there hasn't been any Chaos Space Marine, Chaos Primaris Marines yet. I've seen some cool conversions, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one's by Mock Motion 07. How come we never see Gork and Mork in the same room as you two?
You answered your own question. This question comes from Jim McHugh. What happened to the gene seed of the Loyalist Marines from the traitor legions who escaped from Isfahan? Many of them were taken by the Adeptus Mechanicus during Tithe collection. Some of them became part of founding. So, for example, the what is it? The Raven Guard? No, the Blood Ravens, which is they are the successors of the Thousand Sons. So that carries over. So yeah, a lot of things, but mostly like if a chapter was created, then they just continue that lineage, and they keep it a secret from
everyone.
Yeah.
Just like the Exorcists, it was a secret who their chapter was.
The Grey Knights.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's been confirmed. It's not.
No, they're lying to you.
But if you don't know, check out the article from last week on Warhammer Community. It talks about who the origins of the Exorcists are.
Who were they?
Rogodorn.
Oh, that's fucking lame.
That's what I thought too.
That's a lie.
I hope.
I'm sticking with the Grey Knights.
That's what everybody thought, because like they fight demons and like stuff of chaos, and they're like almost immune to the effects of chaos. That's Grey Knight stuff.
Yeah, nothing about that screams Rogodorn.
Bob J. What do you guys think about the orcs getting a new tribe or tribes added into it? Maybe one that has been fighting with the Tyranids for so long that they use their weapons of the Tyranid carcasses. Same with the Tau and Chaos.
So I wouldn't want a tribe per se. What I want is Chaos Orcs. Like I want there to be a little like side faction where you can have Red Orcs or Slanesh Orcs or things like that.
Have you been watching the Crusade for Mini Wargaming?
No.
They have Khorne Orcs in there.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember him starting it. It's Dave, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
And Tyranid Orcs are a thing too. I've seen some conversions for that. I think the harder ones would be like Slaneshi Orcs. And Tzeentch Orcs could just be like shamans and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think Tzeentch would really care about the orcs too much.
No, because they're too busy fighting to even think about concocting plans and whatnot.
Right. Next one.
This one's by Michael Smythe. Not Smith. Smythe. Could they solve the Sanguinius/Death Company issue by saying that he did die and was then resurrected, and because of that, they still got the backlash of his death?
They could.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Right. The thing about killing people and then resurrecting them, I feel like it's still the same thing as like saying they never died to begin with.
And it cheapens the whole thing with Horus. Like Sanguinius and Horus were best buds.
Amigazos.
And
bros
Horus
before.
Yeah, bros before the angel wings.
Yeah. Like Sanguinius gave his life to put that like dent or weakness in his armor so that the Emperor could kill him. Not that the Emperor needed it,
That's
but
true.
it was there.
It's true.
Yeah. Because the Emperor could have killed him at any time, but his loyalty and I guess, what do you want to call it? Fatherly love?
Because it was his favorite Primarch.
Yeah, it was too strong for him. Because even though you saw the corruption in him, I guess the Emperor knew that Horus was not really doing this on his own free will. It was Chaos who were using him as a puppet. So he was trying to kind of separate that. And when he found out that there's no way, well, it's like, you're gone forever.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just kill him. He erased his existence.
His soul, yeah.
Yeah.
This question comes from Poigene. Does the Iron Hands have a leader within the chapter with a close comparison to Ferrus Manus, or equally in strength of a heroic achievement? No, I don't think so. I think like after the Iron Hands basically got wrecked during the Isfahan or the Drop Site Massacre, the different clans, I think they're called, split up. And then within those clans, you had smaller heroes, but nothing to the extent of Ferrus Manus.
No. If anything, they have like a council of like Iron Fathers.
Yeah.
And that's like the closest thing.
There's one dude in particular, I think he might have turned Chaos, but he ended up founding the Red Talons, I want to say. I forget his name. He's part of the Morgul clan.
Morgul?
Yeah, I think it was called Morgul.
I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, I would have to do a 40 facts video on him. I forget his name, but that's the closest thing. And he was more of like a chapter master, not so much a Primarch level warrior. Yeah.
Serenity says that Molly line was hilarious. You take lines of Molly, I just pop them.
You just gotta pop them, man.
That's how it makes you sweat quicker.
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're gonna go pop some mollies right now.
In the club, like Scissor. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh 1.
And see you then.
Oh, I used to put my freedom first, and then